Welcome to our very first Medical Monday for 2023 with ophthalmologist Dr. Dylan Joseph. Dr. Joseph, I hope you can still remember me. It's been well over a month since our last discussion.
It has, December seemed to fly past at a rate of knots. There were so many public holidays, Jan,
Yep.
but I certainly remember. Who can forget e-radio?
But it's been, December was like a whirlwind, and now we started the new year, and now January is almost over as well. It's just crazy.
Yeah, no, I don't know when to stop saying Happy New Year to my patients. I'm not sure. When does one stop?
Oh, that's so true. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And but anyway, well into the new year, and you're also starting off with a bang at your practice with this very nice new initiative, a self-test that you're going to tell us more about now on your website, of course. Let's start talking about the idea. What was the idea behind developing this?
Well, I think, laser vision correction is something that's not really well known and very accessible to the public. And people don't know about the options. They don't know about the opportunity. They don't know whether they may or may not be a decent candidate for a laser vision correction procedure, for a implantable contact lens procedure, a customized lens exchange, or even a cataract procedure. So people don't know when it's right for them. And at the end of the day, you've still got to answer two questions. Do you want to improve your vision, and do you want to reduce your dependence on spectacles or contact lenses? And then age really becomes an irrelevant factor. As long as you're above 18 years old, then you can look at your options. And how do you know your options? And we thought, well, apart from a person phoning the rooms and asking whether they're a good candidate or not, it's impossible to say just by a number of questions, but you can certainly get a fair idea. And once you understand that and a few critical things about a patient's medical background and history, you can get a really good picture together about whether or not you may be able to do something for a person pending a good clinical examination. So that's where the idea of the self-test was born. So essentially what a self-test is patients looking for vision correction options. They can go straight through to the website. They can click on the self-test banner. They fill it in, a number of questions, answer that. It gets sent directly to my email. I'll answer it personally. We liaise with Melanie, our marketing director, who will be able to send them a whole bunch of video content and podcast content on topics relevant to their potential surgical changes. And Mariska will get on top of it and be able to give them information on our advanced eye assessments. So, it's a multi-team approach by answering a number of simple questions, which will take you literally 2 minutes to fill out.
And what kind of questions do you ask, Dr. Joseph? Do you ask if I'm married, my shoe size, what I ate last night?
Gee whiz, well, if I did, I certainly wouldn't be doing much LASIK then.
Yeah.
No, so we need critical details. Obviously, your contact details, there's space to fill those in. We need to know how to reach you. But then, critically weighted questions, and this is the really nice thing. So behind the scenes in the questionnaire, it's algorithmically weighted depending on your answers to the questions. So if our number of questions are, what are your ages? Are you between 18 and 35? Are you 35 to 55, 55 to 65, or 65 plus? And depending on your answer there, it's automatically going to say, well, certain age categories are probably good for laser vision correction, and others for implantable contact lens. And then, of course, if you're 70 plus, you're probably looking at cataract surgery. Then it asks you, do you know your script? And if you know your script, meaning what's in your contact lenses or spectacles, is it a -2? Is it a -5? Are you a -12? Or are you a +6? And then the algorithm also looks at this and says, okay, well, if you're a -12 or -15, we know already that you're outside the Food and Drug Administration guidelines for laser vision correction. So you're going to be deferred into the implantable contact lens category if you're within the 18 to 55 range. Then the next questions are, do you have astigmatism? Do you know how much astigmatism? Do you have dry eyes? Do you have autoimmune disorders? Are you pregnant? Are you breastfeeding if you're female? And then depending on that, we'll tell you, listen, if you're breastfeeding or pregnant, you've got to wait 3 months after end of pregnancy or cessation of breastfeeding. So it tells people then, listen, don't waste your time, coming in and me saying that face to face now. Rather, let's sort out these things. Do you have any autoimmune disorders, which is one of the questions? And then I'll write back and say, well, what is it? Is it well controlled? And depending on those answers, we can say, well, yeah, we can see you now, or we must sort X and Y out before we can do Z. So it's a really great screening tool and a method of giving patients confidence to say, well, I've got a 90% or 95% chance that I may be a good candidate for a certain vision correction procedure, and I can do it now. I can look into it now. And we've got a team that sends you great podcasts, great audios, great video content that can show you exactly what your options are before you even step into our consultation room. And Mariska can provide you with a written information booklet on your refractive surgical options. She can tell you about the advanced eye assessment. If you're coming from far, and we get lots of patients that travel from, Europe, from Britain, from Johannesburg, Cape Town, from even Australia and New Zealand, that they come in, Mariska helps them with their setup of appointments here. There's now Uber in Knysna. I don't know if you know that there's Uber in Knysna, but there is. So it makes it very convenient to now go between your guest lodge and our practice. And before, after surgery, and before, after consultation. So, very practical and very convenient. And Mariska can certainly help out with that. And we put together different packages depending on your budget. Do you want to stay in a 3-star guest lodge, 4, 5-star guest lodge? It's up to you. And so we're there to help with that. And it helps the decision-making process and the journey a little bit easier. So that's basically what the questionnaire is about. It's 11 simple questionnaires about your health and about your script and about your vision, and it gives me a lot of data and detail and tells me whether we can assess you now and what your options are. And sometimes when people hear, well, these are the options which they didn't think existed, hey, that instills confidence in them and excitement and saying, well, now I know I can actually do something about my vision, as opposed to either being told I can't do anything or I've got to wait. It's a fantastic screening tool, and one that I think hopefully will help change a lot of lives this year.
I think it's a brilliant initiative, and I love how you incorporate technology into your business, because it just makes it so much easier, not only for you, but also for the patients. And I think the big thing is it saves a lot of time, eh?
Absolutely. And time is precious. It's a commodity that, our patients don't want to waste. We can't. And everything's digital now, and people are digital savvy. And, fortunately, the websites and these self-tests are all really being modified and upgraded to be able to be compatible with your phones, your tablets, your desktops. And people like seeing that interaction. They know what they're in for. And it makes a big difference, for sure.
It's nice.
It's the way forward.
It is, definitely. And now you've collected all that information, and, you mentioned the algorithms and all that stuff. I've seen a bit of it, behind the scenes, how that works. It's actually so intelligent. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's AI, basically. Artificial intelligence, and that's all over the world right now. So that's really, really cool. So, okay, now you've got all the information that you need to know, and you also have a better idea of what exactly this patient needs. So what do you do now with that info? Do you now compile it? Do you turn it into an appointment, see how you can help?
Yeah. Well, so from that, I mean, our response time is pretty quick. I respond personally because I look at the data that the patient sent. And we'll get Melanie, as I've said, straight onto the relevant the movies and podcasts that need to be sent. And Mariska will be calling the patient usually within the 24 hours to give more information. And then, the patient has everything at their fingertips to say, okay, this makes sense to me. I would like to look at correcting my vision. Or they say, no, you know what, I'm going to wait another 6 months or a year or 2 years. Or they know that they're not necessarily a good candidate to do anything now, and we haven't wasted their time, and we can review that again in a year or 6 months. So, that's the process forward, and, taking those online self-tests and getting on top of it quickly so that we can give the patients their options to come in for an advanced eye assessment here in Knysna.
I think that's so cool. And also, I mean, now you've captured the information of your patients or would-be patients, and you can keep it on file, and always refer back to it. I mean, that information is very, very valuable. So, Dr. Joseph, how do we take this self-test? Can you just explain to us?
Yeah, so there is a QR code that we can circulate in emails, and that is in a number of our adverts, but there is a direct line into our website. You can either just Google www.drdylanjoseph.com and the self-test block will pop up, or if you want the direct URL, it's www.drdylanjoseph.com/take-our-self-test/. So it's take our self-test and that goes directly through to the page. It pops up those 11 questions. You submit it, and it gets emailed straight through to us. But the really easy way is to head straight through to our website. And if you ever do see the QR code in brochures, in adverts, and emails, then it's just simple. You point your phone, your phone camera straight at it. That URL pops up and you click on it on the bottom, and it takes you straight through to the laser self-test as well.
How convenient, and what a way to start the new year. Well done, Dr. Joseph. Well done.
Thanks very much, Jan. Exciting times, and hopefully we can help change a few lives through their vision this year.
Most definitely. That's it. What a lekker start to a Medical Monday for 2023. Thank you so much, as always, for your time, and we'll chat to you again next week.
Awesome. Looking forward,